Good early morning, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are. It's October 15, 2023 at 12:53 p.m. Eastern Time. Everybody knows it's a big secret, right? So there's a question posed on Quora. Can an individual really get stalked by a whole neighborhood or city full of people at once without knowing why they're being targeted? And I'm going to read a response that was left on Quora. But please hit the thumbs up, please. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there, combat the cyber stalkers. Generally, when I post a video, it automatically gets downvoted by some criminal stalker there who probably has like 8 or 9 accounts and downvotes it to 60%, even though it's been up for like a minute. Can an individual really get stalked by a whole neighborhood or city full of people at once without knowing why they're being targeted? Genesis, the name Genesis Gardner responded and posted this response on Wednesday. Yes, it is known as the Covert Stage of organized harassment. It's the beginning stage where you're being watched and followed, and those running the program are digging up all they can about you and twisting it to create the kind of narrative they're going to use to get people on board for targeting you. They go around to all your friends, family, relatives, neighbors, any and everyone they can, especially those you interact with on a daily basis. The only ones they omit are anyone they feel they wouldn't be able to bribe and turn against you, as some people are very loyal and will not fall for any lies about you, against you. However, like a disease, the program is spreading around a bunch of false crap about you, and people are being given instructions on how to interact with you. But you have no idea because it's purposely being kept covert. It's not until it hits the overt stage that you'll begin to pick up on, and at some point, the strange and sometimes hostile way people treat you, and how everywhere you go you're being stared at, glared at, or outright watched. And that's just a little stuff. There's a handbook on one website I found a couple of years ago that explains this matter factly based on COINTELPRO, since that's basically what organized harassment is. It's a big secret. Be quiet. Don't tell anybody about it. It's state-sponsored, government-sponsored. It's the secret hit list. That's right. Remember the mafia, folks? The mafia, they would take out a hit on somebody. You know, could be somebody that they didn't like, somebody that cheated on their, with their wives or whatever, or just a bad business partner, just somebody they didn't like, and they would take out a hit. Literally, it's called a hit for a reason. They go out with a weapon and unalive them and then dispose of the body. But what we need to do is expose them. It's organized persecution. It's a smear campaign. They warn everybody around about the target, their tactics, the gang-stalking subculture. It's a subculture. It's a cult. It's a cult. They are the zombies. Historically, what you can do is do not participate. Don't participate. Don't believe the lies. There are a lot of people out there, they want to believe the lies. They get off on it. And also, they're getting paid. They're getting little perks, right? They might be getting a gift card. They might be getting their traffic violations relieved. They think that they're in with the sheriff. They think that they're in with the police, and then they use that also. Or they think that they're in with the local prosecutor. And they usually are, because somebody in town is paying these creatures. Somebody in town is the handler, right? There is a handler watching these people. As they're watching you, somebody's watching them. They think that they're the stalkers. Think again, idiots. When you go along to get along, you've made a pact with the devil. And the devil is watching you closer than they're watching me. That's right. You got to expose them all. So I'm going to get into what this person responded to, how it how I can describe it from New Jersey to New York to Kentucky. When they talk about the covert stage, like a stage is set at the beginning where you're being watched and followed. I remember that happening to me in New Jersey. I remember going to the post office, and a woman, she was nasty as hell, was photographing me, you know, just the way the blessed and cursed ones around here do with me. But this was in the parking lot, and she was actually illegally parked. Surprise, surprise. She's illegally parked with her camera photographing me. So I pulled up right next to her. I said, "Why are you photographing me?" She doesn't say anything. And she says, "Well, why are you, she says, "What are you looking at?" I said, "You've got your camera out photographing me." And I just stuck my finger up at her. She says, "Oh, yeah, isn't that nice?" And it's like they're looking for a reaction and stuff. But this is, of course, before I realized what was really going on. But it's the same tactics in New Jersey as it is here in the small town, Kentucky. Yeah. So they go around to all your friends, family, relatives, neighbors, anyone that they can, and especially who interacts with you on a daily basis. So who interacts with you on a daily basis, right? Daily basis, it might be the the person who delivers your mail. Could be your UPS, a Federal Express driver. It's obviously your local neighbors. It could be your physician. It could be your dentist. It could be, you go to the grocery store, or if it's a local grocery store, there are only a couple of people working there. They might, co-opt one of the people there if they're on schedule with your being there at that particular time of the day or evening. Like in Manalapan, New Jersey, I obviously visited pet stores. I had to buy pet food for my cats. And I never had a problem with the people at the pet stores there. But what I noticed is towards the end of my living in New Jersey, of course, some of the people came and went. So there were people that I was friendly with at the pet stores, and then they would go and find other jobs. New people would come in, and they obviously wouldn't be as friendly. They wouldn't know me. But the regular people there, I noticed a couple of them becoming a little bit more distant. It wasn't that they were doing anything specifically to me. Maybe they were just a little more skeptical. Okay, now here, when you move to a place that you've never lived before, nobody knows anything about you. So anything that they hear about you that is a lie, they believe, or they don't even care if they believe it or not, as long as they're getting paid to do it. And some of them just get off on being bribed to turn against the person. They have nothing else to do with their sorry lives in a small town, right? There's nothing else to do here. In New Jersey, there was so much to do. There was no way that they could co-opt 47,000 people against me. And I will assert that even the local neighbors, the neighbors that I knew for years, 10, 12, 15 years, while they were participating, they weren't at least overtly doing things to me. They would just ignore me. Except for my immediate neighbor next door, who you wouldn't think they would co-opt because, they were college graduates, they had really nice kids. But they ended up joining in the community watch. And I remember these rogue-looking people pull up to their household, and I'm thinking, this is like a comedy. So you've got these highly educated, very proper people with their wonderful children. You've got all these rogue gang stalkers pull up to their neatly manicured home and having like a barbecue in the backyard. None of it made any sense at all. It was just completely out of place. It was so obvious. I remember looking out my window, shaking my head, thinking, this has got to be a scene from a movie. Like, this did not make sense at all. Like, how did this happen? I actually photographed it. Yeah, I've got photos I should show you guys. It's pretty hilarious. So then she goes on to say here, the only ones they omit are anyone they feel they wouldn't be able to bribe and turn against you, as some people are very loyal. And I will assert that I specifically asked my mother, I asked several of my friends, has anybody contacted you? And they said no. And obviously my mother would say, My mother would say, yeah, let somebody contact me. You know, my mother worked in a law firm for 32 years. I don't think they were going to try to get my mother to go against me. But what they did is they murdered her in the end instead. Yeah, that's what they do. So yeah, they spread a bunch of false stuff about you. It's sort of like the Manalapan Police Department when I filed a police incident report. They had the audacity to write in there that I am a cat lady. One, it has no place in an incident report. And where would they, the Manalapan Police Department, where would Lieutenant Thomas Mansell and his little gang of minions, the former chief of police Michael Fountain, who had a lawsuit filed against him for harassing his own police officers, where would they get that information? How would they even know I had one cat? How would they know? I never revealed anything of my personal life to anyone at the Manalapan Police Department. So why would they place it in an incident report? Oh yeah, they're part of the Gangstalking Team. Yeah, they're the ones. They're all involved. They're all in on it. Expose them all. Organized persecution, the smear campaign, the warning about the target, the tactics. Oh, and I mentioned to you that there was one day I walked outside and I see these, I just call them thugs. So I see these two thugs in like bad suits going door to door. And one of them just kept looking back at me. They look like, I don't know, how do I describe them? Maybe they were my favorite Bureau of Instigation. Or maybe they were just private security people. But either way, they were completely out of place. They never came to knock on my door. And they just kept staring back at me. And I know that they were the ones that were going to my neighbors and co-opting them. So then she goes on to say here, then strange and sometimes hostile way people treat you. And how everywhere you go, you're being stared and glared at outright and watched. I remember going to, I had another favorite grocery store. It was a Russian-Polish grocery store. I'm not remembering the name right now. They had really great prepared foods. And I remember going there, and this one guy, he was just staring at me, like staring through me. And I don't know if I should say it here, but he was of a different ethnic background. It appeared to be the same ethnic background of somebody I was once romantically involved with. And he was just standing there staring at me literally the whole time I was shopping. He wasn't shopping. And he wasn't looking at his phone either. He was not pointing his phone at me. In fact, I don't even remember him holding a phone. He was just staring at me. It was almost like he was trying to size me up, like my personality or how I shop or whatever. He wasn't even watching what I was doing. He was literally just staring at me. And I would say the guy's in his 30s. And again, he's of a different ethnic background. Actually, he's an attractive-looking guy. Hey, listen, you know, if you're going to be stalked by these creatures, they might as well be attractive, right? That's not going on here in Eastern Kentucky, I'll tell you right now. And, but anyway, let's see what else here. There's a handbook on one website they found a couple of years ago that explained this matter-of-factly based on COINTELPRO, since that's basically what organized harassment is. And I think that the person is referring to the Dr. Kildee gang stalking manual, which I have on my channel. You can actually search for it, or maybe I can go search for it and post a link to it when I post this video. But anyway, I thought you guys would like to hear how other people describe it. How it's like a disease. The program is spreading around a bunch of false crap about you. And people are given instructions on how to interact with you. But you have no idea because it's purposely being kept covert. It's a big secret. Guys, I'm telling you, if anybody ever approaches you and says, could you please help me and watch this person? Could you do this to that person? Ask them why. Ask them for a business card. Tell them you will get back to them. You don't have to get back to them. You want to do your research, right? Just because somebody comes up to you with a badge, Sometimes it's a fake plastic badge. That's already been proven. It's already been proven. Like those thugs going door to door. I wonder what they were telling my neighbors. Maybe they were just private contractors. Maybe they were hired. And so historically, what you can do is do not participate. Don't participate. Participating is you make a deal with the devil. You think you're unscathed? You're kidding me. You'll be creating more KarmaGeddon for yourself by participating, going along to get along, concocting the lies. Like here in Eastern Kentucky. Yeah, all the glaring, nasty neighbors. I mean, the one thing I could say, though, in New Jersey, the neighbors were not nasty towards me. They knew me too long. They knew me too long. But here, they never took a chance to get to know me. And they don't care. They don't care about getting to know me because they have it in their back pocket. Their pockets are being lined. And going along with one of our subscribers who says that he knows of a way to mitigate some of the harassment is by confronting these people directly. And if they lie about what they're doing, don't respond to you, they're racking up the karma. It's sort of like when I was in court with my neighbors, and I told the judge that my neighbor shot my cat. At that very moment, somebody who's being accused of something so atrocious would say, no, I never did that. Right? In self-defense, I never did that. That didn't happen, folks. The same thing when I said, I think my neighbor got paid. It's almost as like he's being paid to take down my gate. Total silence in the courtroom. Nobody said a word. All complicit, which means that they racked up some KarmaGeddon. That's right, all complicit.